Hi, Will.
Hey, good morning.
How are you today?
Doing all right. Still in the office. I didn't get to go to IT Nation or any of the conferences, so getting buried with this new NIST framework.
Yeah, is it a real you or is it AI that pretend to be you?
Yeah, it's really me. I'm here, so not an AI yet.
Yeah, I should ask you special Turing questions to make sure. But I wonder when everybody's talking about AI and the risk of AI, and I remember that we in Synomi tried um, to to help MSPs and end customers to understand the risks. But now it's official. So NIST professionals gave us some rules how to try to be better protected from AI. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so NIST has released the AI risk management framework, and I think my favorite line in this whole document is that AI risk can't be qualitative or quantitatively measured. So even though there's a document now, it's still kind of unknown.
Oh, okay, so what should we do?
Yeah, so the this AI framework, really what they've done is they've come in and said, they've specifically call out governance, map, measure, and manage. Right. So those are the kind of the four core pillars of this risk management framework. And really it comes around understanding the risk, first to humans, the risk to data, the risk to a company that the AI data may not be one accurate. We've seen that with like some of the consumer platforms, but really it's more around understanding that governance and the mapping and management of AI risk versus actually putting, like what we do in risk management, the qualitative or quantitative risk analysis on it.
So the first thing is to understand what are the risks. And
Right.
yeah, and so can you elaborate on that about that? So what are the main risks that the NIST framework, the new NIST framework is talking about?
Yeah. So it's broken down, into kind of the application context, right? The planned design around using AI, the data input, what AI models being used, and then what the output you're trying to get from the AI, and then how that's affecting people and the planet, right? So it is putting those, understanding, what is the goal of the AI, and can you measure what that goal is, and is what it's outputting, what is the risk to, people, or to the planet, right? I've seen some pretty funny memes out on the internet about, we train AI takes over, and then we're back in the Stone Age, and I think it's kind of funny, but really the thing with AI is we don't know what its capabilities ultimately will be.
So you think that given that we don't really know how to treat AI, and I know that there are lots of application now and add-ons to help us not to expose data to uh, to the wild, and how to make sure that people in the organization are using only the specific AI that we understand. So that does needs to go to this direction to help us really manage the AI risk or just understanding the risks?
It's a lot around understanding the risk, right? I think the big thing is looking at impact, right? So the likelihood is what Nis said. It is very hard to measure, but the impact is what we have to look at, right? So with the large language models, trained on data, what data is that trained on? Is the data, we can't predict how the AI is going to consume the data, structure it until we start testing that output. And so, the idea with this is we don't know the likelihood of a security risk because it really depends on the model, how it's trained, how it's designed. And so we have to start looking at the impact. And so if we're designing something that's going to create photos or videos, we've seen this now out on the web where people are now producing content that is AI generated. I mean, you asked if I was an AI when I joined the call. And so that can actually propose do a big impact. I mean, what if we had an owner of a company or CEO come on video and announce something that affects stock prices, but it was AI generated? And so that would have a big impact. But the likelihood of that happening, we have to say, what is that likelihood? And that's really the unknown.
So, Will, can you tell us? I understand that you might not get it from the NIST, the practical advice how to protect against those risks, but as a CISO, can you share with us, let's say, three main things that company can do in order to protect themselves against AI risks?
Sure. So, the first thing is at least understanding where AI is being used and how. Right. Well, all these tools, Microsoft just had their big announcement for their new AI built into the next version of Windows. I mean, we need to understand where AI is being used and how, and then what data is getting consumed. And if that's company data, then look at, is there a way for us to protect that data going into an AI? And if not, what are the mitigating controls that we can put in place to segment that so that we can ensure, the data privacy and data security? So that would be the first thing, is understanding where AI is. Where is it in our company? Because it's there, right? I think we're now at the point where it's not how do we bring AI into an organization securely. It's there. How do we identify what's in use and how it's being used, and then put guardrails around that to protect the business. Then I would say the other thing is if you have internal developers, right, is getting specific training for the developers on implementing AI safely. There's a lot of resources. Everyone goes on the web. They look for answers online. Developers, IT, we're notorious for trying to find a source online to fix problems. And I think with AI that can pose a risk, right? You can a lot of the models are out there on GitHub. Do you understand what the model's doing? I think
People are using AI to create AI.
exactly, exactly. So, I think user specific training, right? Role specific training. With Microsoft, with all of the Copilot stuff, they're starting to put out training on how to implement Copilot properly. I think that we're going to start seeing that in that role specific training, which we already do in security awareness training, but now we're going to have to kind of expand that out into secure development within AI if we're building
Mhm.
products in house.
And the third,
What's that? Oh, the third.
the
uh,
third, yeah.
I think the third one is we start looking at if we're using AI to generate content. We've always had the concept of an asset register, a risk register, or and kind of inventorying these things. Really, it comes down to who created a document, right? In Word, Excel, we create a document. It puts who made it, what date, time. But if something's generated by AI, we need to have that traceability. We need to know that, okay, it brings up the concept of prompt logging, right? What prompt did we put in to then get the output from the AI? And then if we're using that AI in content that's company records, having that traceability so that we know if there's false data or things like that that come out from that document we've created, that we can trace that back to the AI model and where it failed. And so I think we're going to start seeing a whole lot more, things in the industry of being able to track how AI is generating the content so we have that traceability. So we still have that human element of putting in the prompt, and then the developers on designing and tuning the AI. But now, when there's output, we're going to have to be able to trace that back.
Yeah, so traceability, maybe awareness of software developers and asset, let's call it AI asset management and maybe data management, data management as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, great. So I understand that if you are a company that want to deal with AI, it's important to read the NIST update and to understand the risks. However, this is completely new thing for us. So lots of best practices and recommendation from CISOs should be used, and always be updated and understand what are the next, let's say, recommendation from NIST or other institutes, and always use your logic in order to understand that this is a new risk. You should handle it in the right way. Use it because you cannot stop using that. It's like the internet, but it's completely new thing that we should be aware of.
Absolutely, and the risk management framework, the NIST framework is a good framework, really to start framing that discussion around risk. And
Mhm.
so I'm anxious to see how it evolves. The one thing we can always count on is revisions to NIST frameworks. Sometimes I wish they were more frequent to keep
Mhm.
up, but I'm anxious to see how this evolves over time. But it's definitely a great start to. Just start understanding the risk.
Great. So thank you very much, Will. Actually, what I'm going to do now, I'm taking all this video and try to put it in AI, and then to summarize it, and then and then send it to other people that don't have the time to listen to all these episodes. So great. Thank you very much for your time, and till the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Bye bye.